the same question to you. It's $1 million one. About fantastic things to say, but when the chips are down from Monday, and there's an allegation that one of his own people have done something wrong, can he do this? Can he say, special prosecutor, hand over the document? Okay, let's use your own principle. Give it to police. They investigate. They come and say, yeah, your minister for X had done that. Give it to the prosecute him. I don't want to have anything to do with it. You can do that.
Well, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do it. I belong to a government, General Rawlings. I mean, it's our history where we went the extra mile to deal with issues of corruption. Even so, there were still lingering cases, attacks. But I guess you can. What you need to do is to do as much as you can. Nobody expects him to be wholly, perfect.
Tell me, what is often the challenge with applying the rules to your own, to their own people? Because you've been in government before,
it's a very difficult subject matter. I'm not really going to say that the Nadu is going to earn 100% there. You see, corruption is not just about money. Corruption is not just about money. Corruption is about gifts and other things, abuse of office and all that. Our traditional and customary way of approaching things also creates even greater problems for us. You understand? You have, just made up a mind that this man must be dismissed or removed. Before you say Jack, you wake up in the morning and there's a big umbrella and a retinue of chiefs and whatnot, not in your house. In your wife's, mother's, auntie's place. And the whole delegation, they come. We faced it before. So it's a very challenging theme for us, but I expect that as much as possible, with history behind him, and of course, like Doc said, where he has come from, the basis on which he stood to campaign, corruption, damning everybody, he will have a great challenge. Of course, there are the others who will be sitting on the side saying, well, this is the evidence. Let's see it. See what you do.
You see, Nana, obviously, and you are familiar with how the Attorney General's department works, and the Minister of Justice acting as Attorney General makes it almost practically impossible for them who are party people often to be able to look in the eye of a party colleague and to take them on and to try them, to look at jail terms of 50 years upwards for their friends is very difficult. And sometimes too, maybe the Attorney General will be able to muster the courage to want to do such a thing, but how many party elders and party people will call that Attorney General and ask the questions, are you really going to do this about our own person and expose whatever it is, so that what you mean is that you are handing our opponents, the arsenal to kill us with, ammunitions to kill us with. You see, so Nanado's proposal is the best way forward. But the difficulty he will encounter is if he puts anybody who has any association with the party in there.
You know who I propose?
Because that is what's going to make it very difficult. If you put someone who has no association or who has no party coloration in there, then you can be assured that they would be able to do the job because they don't know who is your party chairman or who is they don't have any friendship with them. And again, because you're going to insulate them by giving them independence. You see how it works? And I say, look at it from the way you put up a judge. If you appoint a justice of the Superior Court, even though you're the president who does, in the end, the Judicial Council will do everything and they submit the name to you and you do the appointment. When you do the appointment, you are done. You are unable to do anything to that person because that person is not removable from office on your whim. It's not removable from office because you feel, they are doing something you don't like. You can't do that. And he says that citizens, he wants us to be citizens. And that he wants us to be citizens. Yes, not spectators. The Constitution is clear that if you're a citizen, you have responsibilities. And those responsibilities, of course, include the constitutional injunction on the government. The constitutional injunction of the government is that the government shall take steps to eradicate corruption. The people have a joint responsibility to ensure corruption is eradicated. Again, we have passed the whistleblowers law. All of these are there. Kufuor's regime, one of the things they did, one of the very fantastic things they did for the fight against corruption, procurement, law, and then the whistleblowers. Unfortunately, the whistleblower, has been gathering dust.
That's true.
Yeah, we've not been using
I'm saying,
it.
what happened to RTI?
RTI, well, the President Mahama, spent time and not paying attention and ensuring that it is done, and then just in the dying minutes of his administration, he says, I want you to pass it. Unfortunately, he doesn't get that glory. AKufo Addo is coming and he's going to pass it. He will get the praise for it.
If it does.
But something, I just want to the legal thing. Are you suggesting that you can have a special prosecutor who will be independent? Is that what you're suggesting?
That's the
that's a name. Is that independent public
I'm saying that is it possible as we sit here today
to have a truly independent one?
I'm saying that under our constitution as it is today,
it's going to work under delegated powers of the AG.
Exactly. The right to prosecute vests in the Attorney General, Article 88, period. Nobody has that power, not even the president. So to that extent, you can't have what you term independent, prosecutor. Everybody will have to, everybody will have to work to, no matter what it is, you still will have to work to the Attorney General. Now, it is the Attorney General that you are cavilling. You are saying that no matter what it is, there will be a party person. He has a backward linkage. I agree, I disagree. Look, if you have a very solid Attorney General who knows his no. You see, an Attorney General is in that position one as a party person, but he's also in that position as a lawyer. And he has his standards to maintain.
That's true.
We've had the Bataramidos and whatnot. You should know the type of person he is. I'm saying that, but that is exactly the point I'm saying. The person must stand up, to his own. Okay, let me fire. In a country recently, chief judges were all removed. You get me? Except one person. So, like we're saying, the people who will be appointed will have to stand up, do their job, and say, take me as I am or fire me. You understand? It's also part of service.
And please, when we refer to Martin Amidu, I'm sure that it is only fair that we don't forget that Martin Amidu, did better when he was out of government than he did when he was in government.
So, but he was in government fighting the system and they kicked him out.
He was in government.
Why do you say so?
Started to.
Yeah.
No.
He started, and then the problems came and he came out.
So why he started in government? He started in government.
Something you don't know.
He started fighting his own government.
When he was Attorney General, you did not associate him with what you associate him with
because
now.
He was under
when he
oath.
was out of government.
He was under oath, so we didn't know. But when he came out, he started telling us things that happened where he submitted a list, the president told him, prosecute them, he said he's going to do it. They told him not to. Remember, he's told us that. So we got to know he started it long in government.
I don't think that.
But the challenge.
I don't think that we are going to analyze Batamidu.
No,
but he has shown some level of consistency. We're talking about the 1980s, when he was chairman of the procurement board or tender, interagency thing. I mean, he's been very consistent about his
probation, accountability, values that he eschewed.
I mean, there are others who disagree with his viewpoint, not the object, you see, but the viewpoint, how he approaches it and all that. So I wouldn't even just put him as just out there. I mentioned him only to say that it's an example of a person.
Of what you are trying to recommend.
No, example of a person who, if you get him right in the right policy, could possibly help you.
I was just going to say briefly that the problem he envisages with the independent prosecutor being that the Constitution provides Article 88 that it is the Attorney General who has the exclusive power of prosecution, civil and criminal.
That's the point I'm making.
And because of that, it is only the Attorney General that can delegate some of that power to anybody who will do so. Presently, the Attorney General does do that delegation. For example, to Senates, they do prosecute on their own. Now, what he's saying, I suspect that they have thought through the independent prosecutor's office in such a way that the independence will be guaranteed even though it is the office, that officer is going to act on the delegation of the Attorney General. I'm sure that they are going to bring out some acts, some law that will be very clear about the process, so that the person will not have to report to the Attorney General every day and say, okay, I've got this guy, what do you say? And the Attorney General say, you wait, and never get back to him. I'm sure that is what is going to get to be done, and particularly that he's going to enjoy that safeguard of the independence, so that you don't remove him at your
You
appointment.
still cannot derogate from the authority that invested.
I want to move on to something else, so that we don't stay with the legal conversations, but because he also moved on to talk about something about the people. I think it dwelled on that a while, that he believed the people, and the famous quote there. He says, I don't want you to be citizens alone. Don't be spectators. I want you to be citizens, not spectators. And it goes on to emphasize the point about how we all are part of the change that he wants to bring in, and that we shouldn't sit on the fence. He says, I have no doubt that, of course, the innovation of Ghanaian, and that we can do it and make Ghana a place where dreams come true, etc. He was trying to carry us along. Now, Samson made the point I want to throw to you. It's been said that, and then the media will be reflecting what the people will do as far as this is concerned. If you don't want spectators, it means that when we get involved and you do something that is wrong, we are absolutely going to take a position against wrong and fight it. Okay. What we've seen in governments in the past is when the citizens start doing that, they fight the citizens. We've seen a civil society group. You are in the political science department.
Occupy Ghana.
Exactly. Occupy Ghana. We've seen those in the form, and they fight the injustice, and then the system rather fights them back. We enjoy FM. We've seen this over the years. I mean, and people say, "Oh, we've called it for him." I'm saying, wait till the job starts on Monday, and then you will see whether, because we called for him, we're going to continue. You will see the real citizens in us all will emerge. The question I ask is, when the chips are down and we start implementing what he's asking us to do, would he have the skin to say, well, I asked for it, now I'm getting it, I'm going to welcome it, or I'm going to shut it down? What's your comment?
No,
looking back to our political history.
I think as a country, when we started in '92, we've seen a lot of progress that has been made. And I am very optimistic also that any serious person who is ready to lead the country, bring the transformation, must embrace the citizens. You must embrace civil society, the media, etc. You know, when leaders are open to accountability, you have the media that will be exposing certain things. As a leader, you're always on the alert. You always want to be on top of things. We shouldn't also forget that anywhere civil society is very strong, corruption is minimal. That's why most of the advanced society, corruption is there, but it's not impacting the economy negatively. But in our part of the world, civil society, the media are generally very, very weak. So once the president himself is calling for that, it's a clear indication that they are ready to be transparent. We shouldn't forget, Evans, that the democracy belongs to we the people.
Absolutely.
And we must be demanding it. And the problem in Ghana and other parts of Africa is that we the citizens don't demand our democracy. How many times don't we go to the passport office and it's as if someone is doing us a favor? So citizens, the media, civil society groups must be on top of the police. Let us tell them these things are not going on well. How many times haven't we watched Adum TV Joy and you have reported that something is happening here? The police will be there. The authorities that may end up acting because of the reporting. At times, they've no plan of addressing the problem. So I think we need our citizens to be very, very responsible. You are going to register your business and they are delaying the process. We need the media to be talking about these things. That's why over the years, people will normally accuse the media of engaging in politics at the expense of things that will bring development, etc. So the reality is that we, the citizens, we are operating a representative democracy. So the president is supposed to be our chief public servant. And let's be very frank, how can you be my servant and you are the one dictating to me? So that means in our system, we have arrogated to the politicians a certain level of autonomy, influence, and we the citizens are not demanded. But the good thing in Ghana now is that, and even based on the election outcome, it is telling us that now the citizens are they are politicized, they understand the system. So if you are leading and you don't do things well, if they see that you are abusing the resources of the state, they may end up responding. So it's good that Addo himself has called for it. I expect the media, civil society, those of us in the academy to be talking about these things. And I know as we do, we demand our society can only become better.
Nana, your comment on this?
Well, I smile because it's a tall order. I think like Bosman has said, he made one point, I don't know whether they did, that Addo has been very fortunate. He's enjoyed the goodwill of, I think, the media and all that for such a huge long time. Now the question is, the test is now on. Like Riley said, from tomorrow or today, what happens? He is the president. How much pressure is he prepared to absorb? The test of whether of his democratic credentials begins from now.
See,
how he can control his people. There are others who will say, why do you say this about the president? They will come to you and they rush on you and assault you. Would he be in a position to say, no, I don't accept that? Don't allow people to make a free speech and whatnot. I believe that he is cut for that. He has the capacity to do that. But at the same time, we need the CSOs, the civil society organizations, to sit up. And some of them to move from their rather partisan position.
True.
You see, some of the civil society organizations are a little more too partisan there. If only they will have, if they will only take the center stage, and then the media will see themselves not as a partisan media, but hey, we are the fourth estate. We call the shots.
And implement Chapter 12 and say, hold the government accountable.
Exactly, to hold government accountable. I mean, we will be having the heroes outside there. The great men who are making history and waves are the journalists, the newsmen, those who are asking Trump hard questions, and the poor guy, the president has to back off and all that. It is important that we decide or agree that we will play our role as citizens. As Addo was saying, the president, he clearly was just coming about the duties of a citizen. In Article 41, it's listed. We have to promote the prestige and whatnot of the state. We have to work conscientiously in our chosen job. We must protect and preserve public property and expose and combat misuses and waste of public funds and property.
I like that.
These are all that.
I like that.
You see, so his call is backed by law.
On the role of the civil society and media.
Precisely.
It's a citizen, ordinary person must do that.
To protect and safeguard the environment. You remember?
He was talking about that. Environment,
so these are all matters which are there. So we should teach the Constitution. We should increase our knowledge of the role of the citizen. And then we will not, like the bossman said, we will not become the subjects, when in fact power resides in the hands of the people. We should ask for it. We should demand.
And the inauguration ceremony that we brought to you, and we are still continuing, is brought to you by Angel Educational Complex, Magdan Shipping Company, your total logistic partner, Innes Fly, Beautiful Protection. I'm sure you're dying to have your bite on this very important topic. Please do.
Evans, I think that we will need to give them the time that they deserve to take off and take off well. Definitely, there's going to be the time when, for example, he's going to make appointments that require him by the constitutional order to consult with the Council of State. Of course, 25-member Council of State, he has the power to appoint 11 of those members. The rest of them, they're going to be elected from the regions. I would want to see that he will immediately, get to that task. By close of the week, I mean next week, we should have the Council of State in place so that the things that he has to do will accord strictly with law. I have no other option. And I know the Addo I have come to know from a distance. I have not had the opportunity of, any personal encounter with him. He comes across as a consummate Democrat, such that almost to a point that he is like a natural when it comes to upholding justice, freedoms, and the Constitution. So I have very high expectations of him in that regard, and I have a suspicion, almost by default position, that he will deliver a sterling record in this direction, including what he's calling every citizen to come on board and to help him to achieve. Already you're aware that I have raised issues with what he did before even he came to office. In my understanding and appreciation of the processes, those people that he named as his staffers now cannot be working in that order because the laws are very clear. We had a very bad law, and I think that's what we have to deal with. People should pay attention to that rather than feel that someone is just in a hurry to criticize. You have a Presidential Office Act, which says that the presidential staffers ought to be appointed in consultation with the Council of State. Now, who put that in that law? Who were doing that law? What were they thinking? That he should be able to do that appointment without recourse to any Council of State, because you know that he needs time. A president, when he comes in, needs time to put that body together. So we need to amend that law, and you don't need anything. They have a majority in Parliament. They should amend that law and take away that portion that says he has to consult to appoint those people to work in his office.
But just a little, just
very briefly,
very briefly, Samson, I think that it is not all lost. If you look at Act 845, that the Presidential Transition Act, you know, the Section 14. 5. He said, I'll just read it. So before the assumption of office of the incoming minister, a person so appointed by the president, so it means the president can appoint, shall be in charge of the relevant ministry, but shall not take a decision involving a policy issue, except in the Ministry of Justice, where the Solicitor General shall be in charge of the ministry. These are transitional things. That's the point I was making. So even before approval by the president, he needs a team to work with.
Okay.
And then the law.
In other words, according to transition, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, this is so you see, the Presidential Staff Office Act says one thing, but I'm saying that the Presidential Transition Act allows an appointment to be made to enable the president.
I think it's a completely different scenario.
Okay, thank you. But the other parts of the speech that we'll look at, one of them, Keely, importantly, is the only time he talks about our history. He says, we are 60 years next 3 months. Yes. And he says that, I'm quoting here, that our founding fathers will be disappointed with the level of development we have achieved in 60 years. We will listen to that and analyze that briefly as we begin to wrap up.
It is not for nothing that when our forebears established the Ghanaian nation, they chose freedom and justice as our motto. Our generation has to give meaning to this motto. On March 6, in a few weeks' time, Ghana will attain 60 years as an independent nation. I suspect that those early nationalists would be disappointed if they came today and saw the level of development we have achieved in 60 years of independence. Our journey has had some highs and, unfortunately, many lows. Since we accepted a consensus on how we should be governed with the onset of the Fourth Republic, we have performed more creditably. It is within this period of 24 years that Ghana has witnessed a consistent period of development. 60 years after nationhood, we no longer have any excuses for being poor. I stand here today humbled beyond measure for the opportunity to lead this country at this time and take us to a higher level of development.
So that's the president speaking about that very important part of assessing our recent history there. And by the way, just talking about history, we of course in the conversation we had mentioned when a beautiful thing happened between Nana Konirajman Rawlings and the president now. Well, he wasn't the AG, I understand. I mean, when that prosecution of
that would have been Joe Gatti.
Joe Gatti.
That would have been Joe Gatti.
Who was there, obviously. Anyway, so what we just heard there, Nana Addo makes a very important point about 60 years, and he's disappointed, and that if our forefathers show up today, they'll be absolutely disappointed.
Hey,
You agree with
I'm sorry, I cannot agree with him. I'm sorry, I cannot. I wish I could agree with him. You see, because in 60 years, this country has moved. It's amazing. I'm surprised about the analysis there, because I mean, how many secondary schools did we have 60 years ago? How many roads, mileage of roads? How many ports? How many, even the human resource, how many graduates did we have? There was a time when if you finish university, you could go and drive a car and test run, Today, the graduates are over and over and over again. I can understand what he's trying to say, that they probably would expect us to, within the 60 years, have maybe jumped to Malaysia. Yeah. You understand? But to say that they will be totally disappointed with growth, is it the dreams of the times, whether we're going to catch up? I mean, Malaysia and Ghana started at the same time. Yeah. Now, where are they? Where are we today? I can understand it that way. But in terms of the challenges we've had, how many years of military intervention? You understand? What about the international, economic order? Yeah. What has happened to us? It's not easy. With the unipolar system at the time, you get me? The bipolar system, good. I mean, it's either you must be a communist or you don't get developed or you don't be a capitalist. Or it's so many factors which probably our forefathers never confronted. You see, the issues of the environment and all that. So I'm saying that I understand where he's coming from. I understand the idea that we could have done a lot better. But I still believe that in terms of human growth, look, today, I'm sure at 50 years in the past, 60 years ago, 50 years, Nana will be working, must be seen working with a
stick.
A walking stick.
Like AKufo is doing.
You get me. Today, at 72, I see my brother working smiling and briskly because of increased health and all that. So, much as the enthusiasm is there, as I said, I wish I could agree with him, but this one I can't.
Like something, you agree with him?
Yeah, I think that when you look clearly and you read Dr. Nkrumah, you would know that he will be utterly disappointed. And Nana Addo seems to actually make a certain demarcation at a certain point. He says, though, that it appears that in the Fourth Republic, we have done a lot better than we had done earlier. In that speech, the same paragraph, he says so. Obviously, we can do a lot more if we cut away, for example, the things he himself has identified, that state coffers is not spoils for a winning party. If we cut away all of these, and the politicians know, they are very much aware how, deliberately we allow the pillage to go on and to benefit our individual pockets and everything in the name of serving the country. So from how he's sounding, and look, you must of necessity believe that he will live up to what he's promising. That come in to serve, and come, if you're coming and you're thinking this is where to make money, you are in the wrong place. Get off.
Let's wrap up now in the next 3 minutes on I guess the major theme. We've talked about inspiration, etc. But one thing that started and ended, he tried to inspire a nation. He tried to inspire a nation. And some words just to capture that, then we discuss that in Rian. He says, what the challenge ahead will require sacrifice, but it can be done. Others have done it. Our best days are still ahead. Did he inspire you listening to him?
I thought he did. And
to dream again, in fact, that's what he
right.
said, that we can dream again. Did he inspire you to dream again?
No, I thought he did, and he inspired us a lot, largely because when you look at the campaign, you know, one of the reasons why the MPP did well in the election, they appear to be more hopeful than the NDC when you follow the campaign very well. And I think Nana Addo is trying to strike a tone that in spite of the challenges we've been through as a country, in spite of the problems we have confronted together, if we can really become very responsible, if we can believe in its leadership, Ghana can make some significant strides. Both my panelists were talking about, oh, maybe Malaysia, we could have been like Malaysia, but we've seen some progress. Nevertheless, I think most of us think that we could have done more than where we are now. And if you have a leader who is trying to take the commanding height of development, sending a clear message to people that if we're a business person, the government is ready to support you. We shouldn't forget the government has talked about certain interventions, the Zongo Development Fund, the one district, one factory, the one. These are things, if it can be done. Let's look at a constituency like Awutu Senya West, the Bodriasi area. If you can send $1 million there, and you are doing that 4 years, the progress and the transformation that will come to that place. So I think most
it gave you belief today that those things can be done.
And people are going to hold him to account.
Nana, to that, did you feel inspired?
Oh, obviously. I mean, a head of state, the first function of a leader is to inspire hope. If there's no hope, we collapse. You get me? That is the first function of a leader. See, even when all things are going bad, you should be able to say, let's move on. You see, during the war, people, where there's no food, people used to boil stones, you know, and tell the kids, it's boiling, food will come, to inspire hope, to survive, you understand? But now, there's a tall list that he has put forward. And let me call it, it's an agenda of hope. That if he can, like you rightly said, if he can succeed, of course, I mean, we all benefit. That's why I said that, I think it's all tongue in cheek. We pray that he succeeds. If he succeeds, it's for all of us. And I think it's what he tried to do is that, hey, don't sit back trying to cut us back. Join and let it happen.
Okay.
So,
30 seconds.
Absolutely inspirational. And you know, Nana Addo has a certain way of delivering the message itself. And the manner in which he does his delivery is also part and parcel of how you get moved and you get inspired. I say this was absolutely inspirational. That it gives a glimmer of what the debate has been for a period now that we have had, as it were, positional leaders rather than leaders like Nkrumah, like Jerry Rawlings, who have a certain, you know, charisma, and their word moves the people along with them. It gives me a glimmer that we can get there. But it all depends on the people he also surrounds himself with and how he projects the government.
Thank you, Samson. Thank you, Dr. Bosman Dasari. Thank you, former Chief of Staff, and of course, on advice on transitions, Nana Addo. And remember, the inauguration coverage is brought to you by Angel Educational Complex, Madan Shipping Company, your total logistics partner, Ines Fly, Beautiful Protection. Our coverage continues here on your election headquarters. We're moving to the next phase now of the coverage. We're expecting the banquet to be the drumming, dancing, and eating to begin, the celebrations to begin shortly. You know, at the banquet hall. We'll bring that live to you. We're expecting a few more speeches within an atmosphere of relaxation. So I'm pretty sure we'll see the jovial side of Nana Addo, the president, coming up in that particular part of our coverage. So you want to stay with us here on your election headquarters. My name is Evans Mensah.
We should all recognize the danger we face by the alarming degradation of our environment and work to protect our water bodies, our forests, our lands, and the oceans. We should learn and accept that we do not own the land, but hold it in trust for generations yet unborn, and therefore have a responsibility to take good care of it and all it contains. Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah Osajifo, said at the end of 1957, the year of our independence, and I quote, "We shall measure our progress by the happiness which our people take in being able to manage their own affairs." Since March 6, 1957, we all say as a matter of routine that we are Ghanaians. It is time to define what being a Ghanaian ought to mean. Being a Ghanaian must stand for something more than the holder of a birth certificate or a certain passport. Being a Ghanaian must put certain responsibilities on each of us. Calling yourself a Ghanaian must mean you have signed up to a certain definable code of conduct. Being a Ghanaian puts an obligation on each one of us to work at building a fair, prosperous, and happy nation. And calling yourself a Ghanaian must mean we look out for each other. There should be no higher praise than to be able to say, "I am a Ghanaian." I thank the Almighty that I'm able to say with pride, "I am a Ghanaian." Be at the center of the change. The change we have voted for will have to start with each of us as individuals. We can start with little changes in our own individual attitudes and practices. The change can and should start now and with us as individuals. I ask you to be citizens, not spectators, citizens, not subjects, responsible citizens, building your communities and our nation. Let us work until the work is done. Holy Scripture in Galatians, chapter 6:9 says, and I quote, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." I assure you, my fellow citizens, who have entrusted me with this mandate, that I will advance my convictions with civility. I will serve the public interest with courage. I will speak for greater justice as well as compassion, and I will call for responsibility, and I will live it as well. This is my solemn pledge. I have at the outset to thank sincerely our departing President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for his service to our nation. He stepped into the breach of national leadership at a delicate moment in the country's history, with the death in office for the first time of a sitting president, the late Professor John Evans Atta Mills. May his soul rest in peace. He has since steered the ship of state with conviction. His elegant, dignified acceptance of the verdict of the people on 7th December 2016 will without doubt receive the approval of history, for it has contributed significantly to the process of democratic consolidation in Ghana. I wish him and his family well.
We extend our greatest salutation to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for his leadership in organizing a free, fair, and transparent electoral process, giving the people the freedom and the space to choose their own fate is the greatest act of leadership. We are proud of Ghana today. We are proud of Ghana today, but it is not unexpected. Ghana has been the bastion of democracy for many decades after years of turbulence. John, as you leave State House, please remember and cherish the fact that you have many roles to play in the future, in Ghana, in Africa, and the world. We all need your creativity and talents. I am thankful for the cordial relationship that developed between our two countries in finding solutions to the burning problems of our nations and our sub-region. Thank you for demonstrating to all that indeed there is life after the pinnacle of power. I look forward to joining you in that track when I turn over to a new administration in a year from now.
I would like to seize this opportunity to reiterate to both of you my warmest congratulations for your brilliant victory in the presidential election of December 7, 2016. Through this act, the people of Ghana have expressed their trust and confidence in you and shown their support for your vision and ambition for Ghana. Your well-known leadership, political commitment, and love for Ghana and Africa will enable you to successfully meet the legitimate aspirations of the brotherly people of Ghana. Your Excellency, my brother Nana AKufo Addo, Excellencies, heads of states, distinguished guests, I would like to take this opportunity to pay due tribute to my brother, President John Dramani Mahama, for the outgoing president, and congratulate him on the remarkable and remarkable work accomplished during his tenure as head of state. President Mahama, as you leave your position as head of state of Ghana, I'm very pleased to acknowledge the very good collaboration we have had and which has enabled us to make significant progress in strengthening the economic and social cultural cooperation between our two countries. I'm particularly pleased for the work achieved together toward the consolidation of peace, security, and integration in our sub-region, as indicated shortly by our chairperson of ECOWAS. In this regard, the people of the Economic Community of West African States will always be indebted to you for the important work you accomplished as President of ECOWAS during the period 2014-2015. Excellencies, Head of States and Government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the transparent and peaceful elections, as well as the smooth handover of power we are witnessing today, demonstrate that Ghana has definitely opted for democracy and peace. This election has undoubtedly contributing to reinforcing the positive image of West Africa and Africa to the world. I would therefore like to solemnly reiterate my admiration and pride to President Nana AKufo Addo and John Dramani Mahama, both great statesmen, for their patriotism and through them to pay a vibrant homage to the people of Ghana for their political maturity, sense of discipline, and love for peace. I humbly exhort the people of Ghana to preserve these important ideals, which are the foundation for sustainable economic development.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo AKufo Addo.
Bamenua Okunini no Gomu bra nyado Achimene kuapemede hia no Bamenua na nte bra Nana Addo AKufo Addo Ye wa yuko anana e Nana mi srenya mi mawo Onyame nka wo adweme dia wo bedie nyina fisam dia wo ye nyina nyame amemo ya kwa nti mi srenya mi mawo bema kana mampanyire asrasa onyame nhira wo okunini lawyer penini nyame nhira wo go mo bra tenase kana nyina ma wa yuko
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo AKufo Addo.
Bamenua Okunini no Gomu bra nyado Achimene kuapemede hia no Bamenua na nte bra Nana Addo AKufo Addo Ye wa yuko anana e Nana mi srenya mi mawo Onyame nka wo adweme dia wo bedie nyina fisam dia wo ye nyina nyame amemo ya kwa nti mi srenya mi mawo bema kana mampanyire asrasa onyame nhira wo okunini lawyer penini nyame nhira wo go mo bra tenase kana nyina ma wa yuko
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo AKufo Addo.
Bamenua Okunini no Gomu bra nyado Achimene kuapemede hia no Bamenua na nte bra Nana Addo AKufo Addo Ye wa yuko anana e Nana mi srenya mi mawo Onyame nka wo adweme dia wo bedie nyina
I, Mahamadou Bawumia,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana,
and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So you just heard the oath of allegiance taken by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and it was administered by Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, Georgina Theodora Wood. And so it is now the time to take the oath of office
To the office of Vice President
against
of the Republic of Ghana,
of the Republic of Ghana,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and true to the Republic of Ghana,
and true to the Republic of Ghana,
that I will at all times preserve,
that I will at all times preserve,
protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
And I dedicate myself to the service and the well-being of the people
and well-being of the people
of the Republic of Ghana, and to do right to all manner of persons. I further solemnly swear that should I at any time break this oath of office, I shall submit myself to the laws of the Republic of Ghana and suffer the penalty for it. So help me God.
So help me God.